What's up? It's hot. It's the middle of July. I would say arguably the worst time of the year. That's all right because at least we have tons of video games to play. Psych! No one releases games in July. God, this is terrible. My name is Jared Russo. I'm the host of this fine podcast, the Video Game Town Hall podcast, the official podcast of videogame.town. And I'm the mayor, and it is fucking sweltering and brutal, and I feel like telling the sheriff, the chief, to close down the beaches. That would be you, Grant. Grant Bruner.
I'm the maitre d' of videogame.town. Also known.
No, you're the Chief Brody.
The Chief Bro. What's up, bro? What's shaking? Bros it.
Please tell me you've seen Jaws.
Yes, I have gotten late to Jaws. With Jaws in the background, I laid on a first date with Jaws playing.
Nice.
But I'm Grant Bruner. I'm the editor-in-chief of Video Game Town. Lead getting laid to Jawsist of Video Game Town.
Nice.
It's been a while since we have podcasted.
Been a while. Well, currently I'm traveling around terrible country celebrating its 250th. And, sometimes you just got to put some episodes in the bank, some special guests. So the schedule's all fuddy-duddy.
I will say I'm recording this after a vacation, and I am shockingly tanned. I have quite a farmer's tan going.
Cool. Here's a fun story for you.
Yeah.
To reciprocate, the first time I popped the cherry, there was like a Spotify playlist and it had ads, and then that was a fun, haha, we left the ads on while the music was playing, haha.
Oh, I don't think Spotify existed yet when I was doing it.
I think it was in beta.
Maybe. But yeah, no, video games. What are we talking about today, Jared?
So I'm going to blow your mind, Grant.
It's more about doing it.
I may or may not be becoming a Final Fantasy person.
Fucking hell yeah, you are. Those games are so good.
Now, let me just preface this. I love Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I am very, very, very close to beating Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1.
Yeah.
I don't think the name of the game is Part 1, but whatever. You understand what I'm saying.
It's the Part 1 of the remake trilogy.
I have played Final Fantasy Tactics, and in 2010 or 11, I played 1 hour of Final Fantasy 13, and I thought it was stupid.
Final Fantasy 13 is not super indicative of other Final Fantasy games. I would say it's fairly different. I would say they have been on one for a while now, in that they keep making the games very different from each other.
All I know is that it was just a series of very boring linear hallways. But what's important, Grant, is that what you do not know is that I am playing Final Fantasy VII OG on my Switch.
I have also played Final Fantasy VII on the Switch. How are you liking the original? I assume you're also playing it with a bunch of the improvement stuff where you can speed things up and you can disable random battles, etc., etc.
Oh, I didn't know I could turn off random battles.
Oh yeah, dude. You need to look up what you can do in this on the Switch version, because you could turn off all that shit. Because if you want to grind, you can turn it on, and then you're like, okay, I'm doing something. Fuck off random battles.
So here's what I would say. I would say I am 90 minutes into it.
Oh, okay. So you've not even left Midgar.
Oh God, no. I wanted to touch it before I came on here.
Okay.
Because this is my segment of the pod. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that I would just prefer a real-time system or a turn-based system, because this in-between to me is ridiculous, because even with the remake, there's a lot of just waiting for a meter to tell me that I can take an action. That's no fun. I don't like waiting.
Right, but here is the sick part about ATB, Active Time Battle, is if you are fast about how you enter the things, if you're getting in there and you are executing quickly, you can sneak in extra turns. You can be ready to attack twice before your opponent attacks once.
I would rather just everyone takes their turns, i.e. Clair Obscur or Paper Mario, or I could just hit people, at least with Remake, it's I can be dodging and hitting and parrying and doing different things or switching characters while I'm waiting, but the waiting around is stupid.
Well, but here's the thing. So ATB has been around since, I want to say 4? So the first one on the SNES or the Super Famicom, I guess, would be 4. It would be 2 in the United States because the numbering system is fucked. But we've simplified the fourth Final Fantasy is I believe if I'm remembering correctly, that's when it was done. So the first couple of Final Fantasies just have the regular, like on the Famicom/NES, have the regular turn-based stuff. And so
There's nothing wrong with that.
Final Fantasy has been ATB or some other weird bullshit for most of its existence. And I would say to you, if you just want a regular JRPG, you want Dragon Quest. If you want bullshit anime and weird stuff, then you want Final Fantasy.
Playing 7 original are these like gorgeous painted backgrounds that your like little political character will like run around. And it's a really cool sense of scale, like kind of like the old God of War games. And I find it so funny that I'm like thinking there are secrets and hidden things around, like the remake.
There are some.
But ultimately, it'll just be like a big blue bottle, and it's like, oh, well, that's the secret, I guess.
So here's also the problem, right? Is you're not playing it the way that game was originally like designed around, which is to say, if you were playing it on the PS1 on a CRT television, the little chibi guys kind of like blend much more like believably into the background. So when you're playing it in like high resolution in the modern ports and stuff, the polygonal models are so hilariously separated from the backgrounds that it's incoherent. When you look back, like I would recommend like you look up some YouTube footage of like the PS1 games running on a CRT. You go like, oh, this is what they were doing. I get it now.
Well, I mean, I wasn't thrown by it because, I find it quite like cute and adorable and funny having played Remake, being like, oh, this area or this character.
Yeah.
But I was really taken aback by the art direction of just like where I am in this like big, evil corporate like power plant looking thing that's like. It's just like the storytelling there is like really, really cool. So I appreciate it for what it was doing in the now. Am I sitting there kind of waiting to either attack, do Thunderbolt or Ice and thinking, well, which one of these does the most damage so I can just skip the other ones?
Sure, but here's what I will say. If you are looking for complexity, you have to, as with like every JRPG, it's like what you want is like 30 to 40 hours into the game. Here's a bunch of bullshit you're going to have to be dealing with. People are going to have a bunch of like buffs and debuffs you're going to have to work with. Like the game layers complexity a lot. It is like very much the style of JRPGs, which is that like when you start the first, let's say 5 hours of the game, things are going to be relatively simple. And like there might be spikes of like more of difficult things where you need to like heal more or you need to like, do whatever to reduce damage. But the first, couple of hours is not really like usually not mechanically complex. But if you want the fucking bullshit, like that's way later in the game. And there's like optional bosses and stuff where if you need to like, if you really want that weird bullshit, that like that really complicated, I need to be dealing with like 400 different things. You can do those. Like those are there for you if you want like the increased complexity.
So I looked it up. There is ×3 speed, which is very helpful in certain scenarios, and in others it'll disable it because it's like, actually, hold on, we're like doing some important story stuff. You can't speed through this. There is God mode if I need it for any reason, which so far I've not.
Turn off damage, right?
You can turn off by clicking in both sticks to disable random battles. I'm liking it. I'm going to play FF10 when that hits Switch 2 in a couple of weeks. So those will be my on-the-road games.
For sure.
And then when I come back in August, I will be playing Rebirth.
That's awesome. Here's what I'll say. I think you'll like 10. I think that it is probably... 10 is probably the peak of the more traditional Final Fantasy combat stuff. It also has a lot of really great story stuff that is kind of like, if you were on forums at the time, it's just like inescapable. So I think that you will like 10 and maybe 10-2. 10-2 is kind of awesome and insane, and it becomes like none of like the only like it has Yuna and Riku, and then there's a third woman, and like the main stuff happening in the first Final Fantasy X is not there. You're now like pop idols, and then it has like the dress spheres, like a massive job system that you go around and you just like whip ass as a bunch of lady pop idols. It's wildly, it's a huge swing, and it's so fucking cool. So I hope that you finish 10 so that you can be exposed to 10 too, and like, holy shit, what were they do? This is awesome.
I am looking forward to that because there's a lot of random people who dance in 7 Remake. Here's what I don't understand. The game tells me in the tutorial for Materia, which I've already dealt with in this new game.
In the original one you're talking about.
In the original one, that it can be bad to use it or keep it like tied to yourself. It's like, there are downsides. I'm thinking, what the fuck? Why would there be downsides?
I mean, like, there downsides, so like there could potentially be like opportunity cost. I'm trying to think, like, there's also probably stuff about like you get later into the game and it's like certain enemies want certain things, and if you're casting those things on those enemies, then you're actually like healing them instead of like doing damage to them. So like,
it made it seem like I was like giving myself a disease by having Materia equipped and using magic.
Well, it's also like narratively there's some shit where it's like Shinra is like extracting the life force of the planet, and Materia are some of that fucking life force shit.
This is the time to use the weapons of my enemies against them.
But no, that first game. So you didn't play 7 at all, right? Like it completely missed you. Like you didn't fuck with it.
I don't think I played a JRPG until Paper Mario 1 and 2, and then I played through Tales of Symphonia,
which is pretty good.
I was really bored one summer. I'm trying to think of like what other like the most popular, biggest, most significant JRPG. It's like I missed them all. Chrono Trigger, any Dragon Quest, Suikoden 1 and 2 people won't shut up about.
Well, certainly the Suikoden people won't shut up about. I mean, Chrono Trigger is one of the ones where it's like, because there's so much like narrative stuff and like timeline stuff, and there's so many fucking endings in that game, people have a huge, I'm gonna say the words heart on, HEARTON, heart on, for that game. People love Chrono Trigger and wish that it got like the kind of attention that Final Fantasy VII got. And I like Chrono Trigger. I don't think I've ever like 100%ed it. I'm fairly certain that I have not. But I've played it. You know what? Because it's especially like in the early 2000s, there was like, that's where like SNES ROMs really started to like take off. And I played a lot because I didn't own SNES, and like I had friends. My cousin had a Genesis, and I had friends who like had a SNES that I would like play with, but it wasn't like I didn't have it in my home. So like there were a bunch of SNES games that I didn't play until like the ROM scene really hit for the SNES.
Super Nintendo was the greatest console. I'm now thinking of even more games that I've missed out on. Skies of Arcadia, the Dark Cloud games, any Shin Megami Tensei, Xeno anything, Persona anything, like there's just an really ocean of JRPGs. But I'm so particular that like I remember having played through a bunch of these demos for these games and just being like, I don't know if any of these are for me. But because I'm so familiar with Kingdom Hearts, like this is going to be so funny to you. The menus, the sounds, naming conventions, like all these things. I was like, I know this
from Final Fantasy. They're like,
they literally just stole it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is that they're
I know.
They're like, yeah, but what if it was Disney? And then also, what if we were absolutely off our rocker with some bullshit?
But like, I knew some of it was from Final Fantasy, but like having gone through a Final Fantasy game almost in full, like I'm really at the end.
Yeah.
I've beaten Genova, and then now I'm like on another fucking highway doing like the highway combat, which like,
oh man,
right,
all of that stuff that like, so like there is bike stuff, but like there's a whole extra fucking character, like that guy who's like your rival in Remake, entirely made up. They made him up for the remake, not in the original
that's
game.
Cool. That's cool.
And he's such a like a dummy, but I really love him.
Yeah, there's a character named Rude. I think
Rude.
it's
Rude and Reno. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. What you said about how they actually turned Wedge and Jesse into actual characters,
For sure.
like, oh, it's so immediate. Like playing Seven for like an hour, you're just like, oh yeah, these are jobbers. Like these are nobodies.
And
Whereas
here's
in
the
Remake,
thing,
it's like, what if they were real people?
Yes, exactly. They're fleshed out. So here's what I will say. It is my understanding that in the original Japanese script, there is more fleshing out of people in general, and that the Western English, like the English translation. So first of all, the initial translation was dog shit and had a bunch of like typos and weirdness, and like I don't know. I assume you've seen like Barrett like swear with asterisks and at symbols and stuff.
Presumably,
Probably it's weird. Like it is improved over time. Like they've cleaned things up over the years as they like re-release things, so it's better than it was in ye olden times. But I would say that the English script for Final Fantasy VII is less good, and there was a lot more of like the vibes. I remember because I had I had Final Fantasy VII on PC, and it came with like a full color manual, as most video games did at the time.
yeah, they used to.
But it had like beautiful, loving like character artwork, or like high quality, like, and I would just like sit there like when I couldn't be on the computer and I was like, fully in my Final Fantasy VII bullshit, I would just like I would keep it with, I take the manual with me and I would just look at the fucking artwork because it was so cool.
I don't like active time battles. Don't rush me. Or if you're gonna rush me, just make it real time. Like pick a lane.
I think they were.
That's my takeaway.
The thing is that there were so many Dragon Quest likes that just have that traditional turn-based stuff that they wanted to make Final Fantasy stand out at the time. So I think like that's the context that you're missing, is that there was just so many of them that they were trying to make Final Fantasy like a distinct thing from the 18 billion JRPGs that were trying to be like Dragon Quest.
Well, then make Paper Mario and let me do cool stuff.
Paper Mario didn't exist yet.
I'm saying they should have invented it before Paper Mario.
Well, also Square Enix like quite literally invented the system in that like Super Mario RPG is a Square Enix game. Like they quite literally invented it. But no, it's great. It's a great game, and I am curious. Like I would love to hear how you like the second game, because the first game is so straight, like it is very linear. Like, like, hey, here, explore this area, but then you go to the next, you click to the blue exclamation point and you go to the next place. Rebirth is just a full fucking open world game. Like it is big. You go around, you do a bunch of side quest bullshit, and there are some side quests in the first game, but there's a lot more side quest shit. I'm very curious what you do. I think that you will just play the ever-loving shit out of Queen's Blood.
That's the plan. I mean, I'm okay with how linear Remake Part 1 is, because there's enough nook and crannies and there's enough stuff off the beaten trail that rewards you. So it's not like 13's just empty hallways and just corridors, but it's also not like overwhelming and confusing because there is a map, but
because like here's the wild thing. So the remake takes place over like the quote unquote first disc of Final Fantasy on the PlayStation, and it is like probably like if you played it the first time you play it, it's probably like 5 to 10 hours, and then they make that a full like 30-hour video game for remake. And they do a great job because like, all of this matters. This feels lived in. This feels like a real place with real characters. I want to know what your thoughts on the characters that you've met so far. So you've met Cloud. What do you think of our taciturn fellow?
He's a cool dude who is willing to dress up like a girl, but doesn't like it. And
the original is it's I would say in poor taste, and it is straight up transphobic / like gay panicky, and the way that they reinterpret it for the remake is great. I don't have like no notes. They did a great job. Cloud rules, like that sequence rules. What about Barrett? How do you feel about Barrett?
So Barrett, he's not the one who disappears the most. 'Cause that's Aerith. But there's a lot of times where like I'm not. Yeah, there's a lot of times where like I'm not, like he's not around. Listen, he's obviously meant to be like the coolest, baddest mofo on planet Earth, and he sometimes does the whimsical.
Mr. T
He'll sing
with
the
a gun on his arm.
Yeah, he'll sing like the whimsical like like that's like fun or whatever. But like he has a kid, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was like, is that kid that he had with Tifa?
No,
They
no.
have that kid together?
No. Do you want?
No, that's not the case.
The answer, like Marlene, is his like best bro's biological child.
Oh,
There's more.
I
I don't
gotta play a
want
whole other
mine
game
from
for
this
that.
literally 30-year-old game.
yeah. Tifa's the greatest.
Tifa's really good, and I think they do a good job of making her the. So when this game when the remake first came out, which is now like 6 years ago, there were some people being like, "Oh, she's like a lib." Like she's, but I think that one, she's a real one. She never like stops the like the radical like blow shit up stuff. She is the most concerned with like civilians being hurt, and I think people interpret that as being like she's not fully committed to the movement. But I think she is, and I think that this all plays out more in Rebirth, and I'm sure will be played out more in the final game. But I think that she is 100% dedicated. She is just the most like, these are people that I know. They're part of my community. I don't want them to fucking die. Like, yes, I want Shinra to fall, but I don't want like inadvertently to like murder a bunch of like my community members. That sucks.
You're either with us or you're against us. Either you're in the fight or you're for the status quo.
And then how do you feel about Aerith?
Oh, you mean Flower Girl, who disappears for fucking half the game, and I gotta go rescue her in another castle?
Yeah.
When's she getting a belly in her, or what? A sword through her gut? When's that happening?
It takes some time. It takes a lot of time, is what I will say to you.
This game doesn't have like any Sephiroth in it.
Well, no, because it's the opening of the game. Like, there's going to be flashback stuff, but like, spoilers. There's most of the Sephiroth stuff is much later in the game, in the original game. You get some in the second game, but like, hey man, the third game of this trilogy is going to be the most Sephiroth heavy.
And so apparently there's they're changing the story because there's like timelines or some crap. I'm not quite sure I'm like there yet.
Yes, so it's I would say the vast majority of the game, because you haven't, there's stuff. What you need to know is the vast majority of the games are hitting the story beats from the original, but there is some like metafiction stuff happening about storytelling and like revisiting and timelines. You will have a better grasp, although still incomplete grasp, but a better grasp when you finish the game. Yes, there's some weird shit afoot, I will say, and I think that I don't think that's too spoilery to say, like, yeah, they're fucking around with the narratives a little bit, but let's be clear, this is like 95% the same basic story beats. They're just fucking around a little bit on the edges.
I'm just waiting for that sword to go through her belly. I'm just waiting.
You're gonna have, let's say, 90 more hours.
Jeez.
Some time for that to happen. It's gonna be a while. She's a major player in the second game, is what I will say. What about Red 13? What about my boy?
All right, so he only shows up in the final chapter, and I was astonished that he talks. I didn't know he talked.
Oh yeah. Oh man, there's also some stuff about the way he talks that it's gonna blow your fucking mind in the second game.
And he's like Charizard. He's got a little fire on his tail.
Hell yeah, he does. So, are you going to play, when you're done, are you going to play the DLC, the Yuffie DLC?
Yes.
Yuffie DLC.
Yuffie.
Yeah. Yuffie is how I want to say it. Yuffie is how it's actually pronounced.
Yeah, I mean, is that like super, super long? Like,
no, it's probably like, I don't know, 5-6 hours.
Okay. My goal is to try to get that knocked out before I leave later this week. Because then I'll be on the road for like 6 straight weeks, which is going to be a lot of Final Fantasy 7 and 10 OG. I would love for them to keep their company afloat by just doing these types of remakes for older Final Fantasy games, because I much prefer what they're doing now than what they did 30 years ago. Not to be a guy who is, old games suck and modern games are great, because I still think that Nintendo has never ever come close to topping Super Mario World in terms of platforming. So I can still be of the belief that an older game in a series blows everything since out of the water. But that's not me with Final Fantasy.
So here's what I would say is I'm interested in how Final Fantasy Resonance comes out, which is where they're taking their phone game and they're redoing it it was initially a gacha. It doesn't exist anymore. It was like Brave Exodus, I think is what it's called. And they're taking it from here's the story beats. We're remaking the game entirely. It isn't just they're stripping out microtransactions. They're redoing it. Here's the story retold in a more traditional Final Fantasy structure. I hope that it's interesting, and I hope it does well, because what I would love is the classic games to be redone in an HD 2D version where they are modernizing it. There's less grind, there's less bullshit, a better script with perhaps voice acting. That stuff, I don't think every single game needs to have the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment, but I think you can revisit those games and modernize them in specific targeted ways that would make them better, and not just like they remastered 8 and it's it's higher resolution models, but it's still at the core of this game from 1998 or whatever, or 1999, and it's in fact, some ways it's worse to play it that way than it is to play the original version, because it looks weirder with super high resolution character models and hilariously low resolution backgrounds. So it's weird. I'm looking here on How Long to Beat. The episode Intermission, which is the Yuffie DLC, is the main story is 4.5. Main with extra is 7 hours. So yeah,
Perfect.
5 to 7 hours. I think you'll be good to go.
Perfect. Yeah, I would welcome more of these, especially I think 9. I mean, I don't know if people are just creating that rumor because they want it, but then again, they kind of willed 7 into existence. So if they can get that for 9.
So based on what reporting is, they were working on something with 9 and then it got backburnered, which is not to say that they were really far along. I do think at some point somebody in the last 5 years was doing something with Final Fantasy 9, whether it was just a remaster or trying to do a more robust thing. It's hard to tell. But by all accounts, the reporting seems to be that is no longer actively in development.
We'll briefly answer this, and then we'll move on to our next topic. Is that the right one to pick, in your opinion?
No, it's 6. You have to do 6. Is the obvious answer. If people are going to have favorite old-timey, people are going to have favorite Final Fantasies, it is very, very, very likely that the favorite Final Fantasy that somebody has is Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VII, or Final Fantasy X. Now, there are definitely defenders, more and less for each one, including the online games. But those are the ones that people care about. Those are the ones that die-hard JRPG nerds give the most shit about. Especially from the narrative perspective. You could make an argument that Final Fantasy V is has the most robust job system or something. But from a narrative perspective, 6, 7, 10 are the ones that you fuck with. You don't maybe 8. 9 is a weird throwback. It's dealing much more with kind of chibi-fied, cute, the medieval fantasy styling.
Yeah, VB.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the medieval-y style. I'm much more of the modern cyberpunky, the Final Fantasy 6s, Final Fantasy 7s.
Obviously, because you love sad robots.
Yeah.
And overthrowing capitalist companies. Yeah, obviously.
But it's not that I won't play them. It's that I like them less than I like the settings that are more sci-fi-y. But I'm so glad that you liked it, because I knew, having heard you talk so highly about Kingdom Hearts and having played through Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, I'm dude, this is just the logical extension of that. Like, it's literally like some of the exact same people taking what they learned through those games and doing and like expanding on that. I'm like, how would Jared not like this? Like, it's so fucking up his alley.
Listen, it's no Kingdom Hearts 2. As we move on to our next topic, which Grant will fill us in on some old things he's experienced. I just want to say that the reason this all got kicked off, the gif of, not a gif, the meme of the guy pushing one domino and it's knocking over the huge dominoes, was because they announced the job system for this new game, and the job system is great.
Job systems are, I think, often pretty cool, which is also like, hey man, one of the things that is the neatest about like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is I love the job system stuff with that stuff. Like, that's really good. That's really strong. I wanted to talk about you. So you told me here, Grant gets to talk about anything for exactly 7 minutes.
That's correct.
So what I played while I was on vacation was, I played some Final Fantasy VII because you were playing it, and I had it on my Switch because I have to support them, which is also, I was really surprised that you bought it on like the Xbox and not like on your laptop or on the Switch or whatever.
So any third party game I will get on Xbox because my brother also gets, because we're doing the cross save, the library trick where we get to play each other's games. But also, it's the best controller. It's hooked up to my giant TV. Like, it's going to run the best, and like that's just a no brainer. So like, the other consoles are for exclusives, more or less.
But I mean, like, I bought and played those games, but I also bought them on the Switch because I want those games to do well. So I played a bunch of that, and I played some Crisis Core, which I think you would fucking hate. Crisis Core is a prequel, which also you shouldn't play until you understand like the plot of Final Fantasy VII. Like, if you don't know the plot of Final Fantasy VII, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
I mean, I think that a lot about these games, so like that's not like gonna deter me.
But a thing that I wanted to, because when we're recording this is around where there's a lot of discourse around the Steam Deck and the price of, and honestly, not just the the Steam machine, and not just the price of that, but the price of what it costs to play video games now. I think it's like a good reminder that browser games still exist, and they're being put out, like, new, cool browser games exist. And what I've linked here is, if you go to itch.io, there are a bunch of games that will run in your browser that independent developers are making, and they fucking rule. There's a bunch of like visual novel stuff. There's a bunch of clickers and idle games. There's a bunch of visual novels. There is so much stuff available. Like, here's a roguelike pinball deck builder called Cult of Pin, which sounds...
What?
Yeah, dude.
I'm looking this up.
I'm gonna...
Looking it up!
I'm putting it in here.
I see it's on Steam.
It's probably on Steam too. Yes, it's on Steam, and it's also... But, like, you can just run that game in your browser.
I'm intrigued.
So, like, that's fucking cool as shit. So, like, I feel like people... There's a game called Gyriax, which is a PvP fighting game, which, you can have feelings about it, but it's small. It's made in Kenya, and it's available to play right in your browser. You could just play it right now. Like, right this second, you can just play it with your keyboard. And obviously, like, you could download a thing, and you could use your controller, and yada, yada, yada. But, like, you could just play it with your keyboard this second. Like right now, and then, like, click it, and then, like, 30 seconds later, it's ready to play. And that's so fucking cool. And I feel like we don't talk enough about that, like, independent browser games are still made, and they fucking rule, and you can find them on itch.io. Many of them, I would say most of them, are just free. They're just, you can play them for $0. You don't even have to put in a credit card or any of that shit. Like, you just click it and you play it, like ye olden times. And it's so cool. And you can kind of sort by popular, new and popular, top sellers, top rated, most recent. And then you could also just do search by tag. So if you wanted to just do, like, I'm going to type in roguelike, and then...
Oh, you're just doing that for me.
Yeah. And then here's a bunch of fucking roguelikes that you can play in your browser. Isn't that incredible? And nobody talks about it?
I mean, no one talks about it because I feel like it has been 20-something years since people on library computers, in their schools were on eBaum's World and Newgrounds playing Flash games and browser games and weird stuff, and that's what gave birth to like Alien Hominid and QWOP, and I mean, there's like a gazillion examples of like Balloons. You know how big Balloons was,
For sure.
or I guess still is.
Line Rider, desktop tower defense, Elf Bowl.
There are a lot, man.
There's a
Why
lot.
don't we do an article on like the best browser games of all time?
But
Or
here's
the best
what I
Flash
also
games of
wanted
all
to
time.
say.
We should do that.
Here's what I also wanted to include is those older Flash games, assuming that they're still online. Obviously, browsers don't use Flash anymore. Like you can't, it's not supported. But the good folks at Ruffle.rs, it is a open source plugin to browsers. You can also embed it into websites too. So if you're like for example, Homestar Runner uses it. Like they have basically embedded it into their website to add, so you could play all of the old Flash files. But if those Flash games are still hosted, you can use like download it as a Firefox extension or a Mac application or whatever. Or there's a Chrome extension and a a Edge extension. And you can just play, as long as those are still online, you can play them in like a secure, basically like a little sandbox where you can play those old-timey Flash games. So like, even though Flash doesn't exist anymore, it's not supported anymore, you can still use Ruffle to play those fucking old games. And all that shit's cool. Now, here's my caveat.
Uh-oh.
You should trust where you're playing the games. Like, I trust itch.io to not fuck up my shit. But the modern games require you to use, most of the time, technology like WebGL, which is basically giving your browser access to like things like your graphics card to do more elaborate things, or more, not like obviously you have to like render on the screen, but like more shit gives your browser more like calls to make to do graphical stuff through WebGL. Here's what I would say. You should protect yourself in general and browse safely with things plugins like NoScript and uBlock Origin. NoScript is great because it allows you to choose to turn off WebGL and then choose which sites you want to use WebGL. So, for example, if you install NoScript, you can just say, "Hey, don't run WebGL stuff on browsers," until it'll show a little like pop up and say, "Hey, this needs WebGL," and you click it and you say, "Yeah, temporarily allow," or permanently allow, and say, "I will allow WebGL to run on any itch.io page, or only on the certain subdomains. Like I only want to trust it for this game because I trust this game." You can do that. So that's great. It's a safe way or a safer way to browse the internet with NoScript and uBlock Origin. It's good to just have in general, even if you never want to play a video game. It's good. It's best practices. Use Firefox, install NoScript, install uBlock Origin, and you'll have a better internet experience. Thank you for here's your monthly PSA from Grant Brunner. That open source stuff to protect yourself is your best bet when you're surfing this nightmare of an internet.
Now, I will just say that was not a paid advertisement. They are not paying us.
No, they're open source projects. Like, absolutely not.
Check out your free subscription for 1 month by entering code. I have Firefox and I have uBlock Origin. I don't have NoScript, so
it is good. One of the nice things about it allows you, when it kind of gives you a heads up where it's like, hey, which is a thing that happens sometimes. Websites will try to like hand off personal information from one website to another, and sometimes it's fine. Sometimes it's like, often like banks will do this shit or whatever, where it's basically like it takes you to a new domain. Like you log in here, and then it takes you to a new domain. Sometimes your healthcare places will do this, like health insurance places. You log into one site,
healthcare companies,
it hands over that information to others. Sometimes it's fine, but often that type of shit is basically trying to leak your information. So it's good. You don't have to use it to you could set it up to basically never allow JavaScript, or you could just say, hey man, you can run JavaScript, but all of the most dangerous stuff, turn that off by default. Turn off WebGL by default. Things like that. NoScript is great. uBlock Origin is great. Firefox is great. Asterisk, please turn off all the AI bullshit.
All right. And now, a game.
Hell yeah.
Grant, we're going to play ATB or B2B.
You're really hung up on the on the ATB stuff, right? You'd really pissed me off.
I want you to tell me each one of these games what the battle system is,
Oh.
and I will give it to you if you can give me the acronym or the actual listed out.
Dude, I'm
official
going
name.
to eat so much shit. I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
Final Fantasy 1.
It's just regular. Final Fantasy 1 is just regular. I don't know if it has like a particular name, but it is just regular turn-based strategy. Like it's just turn-based.
That is correct. Did it have a job system?
No.
Well, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, it had jobs, but it didn't have a job system.
But it doesn't have like a where you're like you're like 3 is where the job system is integrated. Like so 3 is where you're okay, I'm going to be a thief, but then that I can upgrade to a ninja, or like I start off as a warrior, but I want to be a black mage.
Oh, that's great. All right, Final Fantasy 2.
Just regular normal JRPG combat.
Turn-based, that is correct. And you've already ruined 3, which has a job system, and that is also
Just regular.
All right. Final Fantasy 4.
That I believe 4 introduces ATB.
And ATB stands for?
Active Time Battle.
Did 4 have a job system?
No.
That is correct. Well, so far you're 100%.
Okay, so I thought you were going to do other games. Like, I know Final Fantasy pretty well, but like I thought you were going to be like, what is the battle system called? Like in fucking, what is it, Tales of Sky or whatever? Like, I don't know.
Oh God, yeah, no, don't even get me started on that.
I don't know any of that shit.
No. What about Final Fantasy 5?
5 uses ATB and does that's probably like canonically the job system. It's 5 and X2 are the job systems that people are really, really love.
Damn, you're crushing it. 6.
6 doesn't have a job system, and it is ATB.
That is correct. 7.
7 has ATB, and the original game does not have a job system. But it doesn't. It kinda, because it has materia, but it's not the same, because there isn't really classes in exactly the same way. It's more like what are like your supers is basically what the differences are.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have classes in the same way as like ye oldie time Final Fantasies, where it's like, this is a black mage, they cast fucking attack spells.
7 Remake.
It does have, but it kind of has like hybrid stuff, because it does have some ATB elements, but it is not straight ATB, because you can just press the button and smack a dude. So I would say a modernized ATB. There is no job system in 7 Remake.
Officially, there is no name for whatever the hell 7 Remake has.
Yeah, if you like put a gun to my head, I would say like modified ATB, like, or like action ATB.
They officially don't have a real name for it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That doesn't really need a name.
Tactics.
Tactics is like turn based, but it is it's a tactics style. It does not have ATB, and it definitely has a job system.
But there is an official name.
I don't know what it is. Is it fucking I'm trying to remember, like you're
never gonna get this.
In advance, there's like you're like, do you have judges? And there's a fucking I don't know what it is.
You're never gonna get this. So this is the first time you're gonna strike out. It is officially called the Charge Time Battle System.
Oh, I would never fuck all that shit.
All right, a little breeze through these. 8 and 9.
I think 8 and 9 both have. I'm pretty sure they both have ATB.
That is correct. And now we get to the fun part of the quiz.
Yeah.
Here we go. What is Final Fantasy X's battle system called?
Oh, fucking, I do not know. It is some fucking bullshit.
Why don't you throw out an acronym? Just try.
Balls. BL.
That's not an acronym. No.
I don't know.
Final Fantasy X has the conditional turn-based battle system, or count time battle system, also known as CTB.
Fart noise.
Final Fantasy XI. Oh, it gets dumber.
Final Fantasy XI is the first MMO, and so I'm gonna say it's the it's the EverQuest battle system.
Listen, these acronyms are very cookie cutter, so why don't you just toss out a blank TB?
Okay. I'm gonna call it the RTB.
You got it. The real time battle system, RTB. That's correct.
I was 100% a guess.
Final Fantasy 12.
Oh, so 12 is weird because it kind of has MMO combat. It is a single player, like our regular RPG, but it has very weird combat. It's maybe the weirdest combat in all of Final Fantasy. So is it a blank TB?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to call it the whip system.
It's called the Gambit system or Active Dimension Battle or ADB.
Yeah, because so like Gambit,
Active
like
Dimension Battle.
You're basically like you're programming your characters on like how you want them to attack, like prioritize this, like prioritize magic, or like only use this. But you're basically like programming the battle systems.
What is this, like KOTOR?
It is a little bit like KOTOR. It's like, yes, it is a more complicated KOTOR.
I didn't like the combat in KOTOR either. All right, 13.
I'm gonna
call it so much dumber.
I'm gonna say the Thunder system because she's lightning.
The Command Synergy Battle System or CSB.
Fart noise.
I couldn't even tell you what the hell that means. Can you explain what that is? Because I don't.
No, it is. It's a game.
Like when I push a button, what happens?
You smack dudes. Like it is getting away. 13 is really where they get away from the turn-based stuff.
That's a shame. How about Lightning Returns?
Dog. Is it like whatever the fuck
it's the dumbest one yet.
Is it that bullshit like a plus or like you add like the letter I or something at the end?
I mean, you're close. You add a letter S to the beginning. It's the Style Change Active Time Battle System or SATB. I'm not making this up. I swear I had to look all this up. All right, how about 14? This is a trick one.
So 14 is the second MMO.
Yep.
So I'm going to call that the World of Warcraft system.
No, there is no official name.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
They just didn't give it a name.
Yeah. Also, I'm fairly certain that the combat has changed pretty significantly over time, so it would be...
Well, that's why there's no name.
Yeah.
15.
Is it just called like... So, like... Regular would be like active time battle. This is just like it's like
you're so
action.
Close. You're so close.
It's like action, travel boy. It's like a play on ATB.
You're like really close. It's Active X Battle or AXB.
Okay, yeah, so it's like some bullshit like that, but like it because it's like, hey man, we're like God of War. We're like DMC now.
And finally, 16.
Is it something? Is it something combat?
It should not surprise you. They did not give this one an official name either.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Square Enix, for that really consistent run for the last 30 plus years.
It is weird. It is also funny that I basically started laying out ATB stuff to you in the beginning of the podcast.
Yes, not knowing that would be
where I'm just like, well, let me tell you about the job system in Final Fantasy V.
I'm sitting here going, oh boy, I hope he doesn't remember this later.
I mean, I remember the olden times one. The closer you get to modern, it's like I don't know any of that shit's called. A guy.
Well, they had increasingly archaic names or didn't give it name. So
yeah, they should keep it simple like that. The reason why active time battle is like sticks around, even though active time battle is not particularly punchy, but it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's like you're doing from the menus, but there's a time element like active. Like yeah, okay, sure, fuck it, why not? But there's some
it
other
both rushes you and also you have to sit there and wait. It's like I should be more frustrated with it than I am. Maybe I'll get there, but like it really is stupid to me that I can't just either do the things as soon as I can and nothing stops me, or it's not just I take my turn, you take your turn.
Well, but in the remake stuff, it doesn't really matter because you're building meter just by smacking dudes with a sword.
Yeah, that I can just fucking smack and dodge and parry and like switch characters. Like that is not
that way seems fine for me. Like that wouldn't be a problem.
But there are some times where I am waiting on like, okay, come on, I want to use an item and I can't. I gotta wait.
Well, right, but if you just let it you could. So here's the thing also about the Final Fantasy VII remake series is that later on they have patched those games, so you can go in and turn on things where it's just like, do you want to have your meters full all the time?
Oh my god!
Like yes, you can just go into those systems today and turn all that shit on. Oh my god! Like go into the menus and look around. I think it's called like streamlined progression, something along those lines. And
Yeah, you know
can
what?
just toggle that shit on and off. It's basically like, hey man, do you just want to play in like ultimate mode where you can just do your like strongest powers all the time? Like, yeah, you can turn that. It breaks the game, but
Well, yeah, I don't necessarily need that, but like, all right, maybe I'll play around with it when I get to the second one. Man, this episode must have been such a waste if you don't care about Final Fantasy, which was me a month ago.
but here's the thing: I edited the last couple of podcasts that were like, hey, get ready to talk about the Knicks.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
You know what else is a big deal?
Here we go.
Genova.
I thought you were going to say our Patreon.
Our Patreon is also a big deal.
Yeah.
Where you can get, if you like what you hear, you can have an extra
willing.
one every single month for as little as $5 if you go to videogame.town.
Or God help you.
/donate. We would really appreciate it. Now, if you don't want to do the monthly subscription thing, we also have a Ko-fi. If you just want to throw us a couple bucks, we would love that. We would support it. If you want to invest in independent media, we would love that. We would appreciate it. And if you don't have any money to throw around, I have been there before. Trust me. If you could just go and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, we would really appreciate it. It makes a big difference. It lets people know that we exist, which is an important thing about independent media. Is like you don't have people like constantly talking about things, or you don't have like, hey, we're part of a network where people are talking about other things on your network. This is the way that people know about it. This is the way that people find out about us, is by reviews and things like that. So we would really appreciate if you would just give us a 5-star rating if you have the ability to do so. Videogame.town /donate.
Thank you for listening. God only knows what interview will be coming up on the feed for next week. God only knows when this episode is going up, probably in the middle of July. But we're more or less alternating vacations, so there will be a lot of fun interviews with really cool guests. So I hope you like listening to all sorts of talk about movies and TV shows and comics and literature and fiction. And yeah, there's some sports talk, but everything always revolves around
fighting games.
Yeah. So
anything can happen in the Bronx, Jared, is what I've been told.
Rumble in the Bronx. It's a potpourri summer, like every summer, because it's coming out,
There's some stuff, but not a ton. But we'll get there.
July is such a dead zone. August is when it really picks up steam, and then September and October
are a nightmare. They're
oh my God.
They're a fucking nightmare, Jared.
It is the most desperate. Everyone has to get their shit out the door because GTA is actually coming out.
It's going to be a catastrophe. I don't even know how we're going to do. Like, what is a podcast going to look like? What in a week where like 5 major games come out? What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm getting married, so I don't know when I'm going to have time to actually touch any of these games. I don't even know if I'm going to be around.
I need to start looking into booking flights.
You should also be booking guests because I'm going to be MIA for a while.
We'll get there.
Oh, God. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.